Might have just, I know this sounds ridiculous, we might have just needed sort of warming up a little bit, get the pain back in the legs almost. Some riders go a lot better the further they go into the race rather than at the very, very start of a race, and it could have just been that he wasn't, not necessarily ready, but his body just wasn't ready for that big effort, and maybe that's what we saw with him. But that group behind is getting very close, Dan, very close indeed. You can just see him in the background there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just a handful of seconds really, isn't it, between this group at the front and the chase group behind, being led by Jonathan Castroviejo of the Ineos Grenadiers. Dylan van Baarle, the other rider there. So clearly Ethan Hayter is in that group and they're not wanting to give up their second place on the general classification. Interesting. 5.8 kilometres to go. There's a lot more riders left in this race than we thought. We're coming to crunch point of the fifth and final stage of the Vuelta al Algarve. Two groups are just about to come together. Now 16 riders at the front, containing race leader Remco Evenepoel. And the group behind that's about to latch back on is not inconsiderable in size. Importantly also, Adam, there are two riders there from Quick-Step Alpha Vinyl.
Yeah.
Not that the overall lead is really under doubt or under threat at the moment.
I'm just trying to work out if Ethan Hayter is in this group still or not. You can't see that far down the shot. You can see, I think that's Acorn from Jumbo-Visma moving up, just trying to get up to his team leader, Voss. It'll be interesting to see if Hayter is in there. Yeah, he is, just at the bottom of the picture, just got out of shot now. So Hayter is still in there, the man on second in general classification. Look at the quick-step riders straight to the front. You'll probably get, Yves Lampard will probably get a little shock right now when he sees them.
Yeah, I think that must be Casper Asgreen and Lewis Vervaeke there. So three riders around Remco Evenepoel now. That's a large group, isn't it? There's Ethan Hayter, as you were just saying. He's around about 25th position now. Still not with his teammates, interestingly. You'd imagine that the winner of this stage is still going to come from that 16-man group that has just been caught. If you didn't manage to keep up with them the first time, likelihood is that you aren't going to be able to the second time either. It's just going to make positioning into this final climb just that little bit more difficult, though, isn't it?
I tell you what, the sort of the buzz you must get if you're Remco now, just having two more teammates come back up to the front and being like, we're here. It must just be like, yeah, boy. You know, it must be such a nice feeling that your teammates come straight to the front and do this job. You neutralise attacks coming into the bottom of the climb. And it's going to be interesting, the words that Martinez and Ethan Hayter have after this as well. Trek Segafredo now moving up on the right hand side. As you said, Dan, position is going to be even more key now coming into this final climb. You can see other riders just trying to move up a little bit. Remco pushing Robert Geesink out the way there, saying this is my wheel, leave it alone. Dylan van Baarle on the right hand side, Voss behind him, Ethan Hayter a little bit behind that, Jay Vine just slipping back a little bit. I think that's Dries de Bon, is it, with him still maybe?
Might well be. He would have been picked up, wouldn't he, by that group behind. So if he's managed to stick with them, does mean that Jay Vine's got extra help to position himself. One man who hasn't, from what I've seen so far in these overhead shots, is Sergio Higuita. Haven't seen any more riders from Bora Hansgrohe, but that group's getting even larger. It's almost like the main peloton again as things stand. Another group that's just managed to get themselves on the back by the looks of things.
Big group indeed. I don't think they'll be able to do anything with the effort they might have had to make to get onto this, but 3k to go now, another 600 metres roughly, well 300 metres till they take that tight right hand corner. You can see Dylan van Baarle moving, oh no, is it Ethan Hayter moving up? Danny Martinez on the left hand side. Yeah.
I guess the one thing that you could say for Hayter, even if you think he might be having words with Danny Martinez after the race, is that given that he had Castroviejo and Dylan van Baarle do the work, it wouldn't have been necessarily too hard for him, but we'll find out very shortly. This big group, much bigger than we saw just a few moments ago, is about to tackle the Alto de Malau for the second and final time. It's an absolute brute. As soon as they scale past this right-hand bend, they are immediately onto some super steep gradients. And it's Quick-Step Alpha Vinyl who are bossing things at the front. Yves Lampard back onto it, just on his wheel, Lewis Vervaeke. Safely just behind those two is our race leader, Remco Evenepoel.
Yeah, and you see Yves Lampard just setting that tempo, making it hard right from the word go. It's Michael Gogol bringing up Gogol, sorry. Moving up Jay Vine on the left-hand side. Tobias Bosch just on the wheel of McNulty there. Danny Martinez on the right-hand side moving up as well. Brian Coquard as well moving up.
Yeah, Martinez didn't have the best of positions leading into this climb, did he? And we're already starting to see the effects of the pace at the back of this group. Still no big attack coming from the main peloton. McNulty is the rider, just barging Jay Vine there to get to the wheel of Remco Evenepoel. Brian Coquard is there. Adam thought he had a decent chance of today's win. I said he's got no chance. But he's there.
It's going to be interesting to see what happens up here, isn't it? If anyone does attack, if they want to attack, are they going to leave it late? Are they happy with Lewis Vavaka setting that tempo? Got Ethan Hayter right at the back of this group now. Just bowling past Warren Barguil.
Well, he's at the back, but he's at the back of the front split, isn't he? You see him at the bottom right-hand side of your screen there. Warren Barguil rocking and rolling on his bike, and Ethan Hayter just in front of that.
I wonder if Martinez will attack. He's got to. If he's done what he's done that first time up the climb, or maybe that was an all-in effort, you know, you need to go, you need to try and do that. If you can't, and Ethan's still in the group, we need to protect your second position, Ethan. It's going to be an interesting, see if he does or doesn't do this.
Watch out too for Figueiredo. He's on the bottom right of your screen, that bright yellow kit of Glass Drive Q8. He's the rider that went on the attack in the closing stages of day 2 of this race. A very talented climber. But as things stands, Vavaka sets the pace. Less than 2 kilometres to go, but the steepness of this climb will mean we've got 5 minutes of action remaining in this race. Vavaka dropped the first time up this climb.
It's climbed so differently this time, isn't it? With no one really wanting to get any time back, but just concentrating on the stage win. So not attacking early on at the bottom of the climb, not trying to create time grabs, not trying to create opportunities. They're just focusing on the last bit. This is the hardest part of the climb, this sort of middle section here, then it flattens off towards the top. So a lot of riders, as I said, quite happy with no attacks, just the pace being set and gambling it all, maybe getting closer to the line and launching a long range sprint or a short sprint.
Martinez is rocking and rolling on his bike as well, isn't he? In around about 6th or 7th place there for the Ineos Grenadiers. So it's Vavaka, Evenepoel, McNulty, Jay Vine, David Gaudu, Tobias Foss just moving himself up in the Norwegian national champions jersey. Danny Martinez behind that, his compatriot and national champion Sergio Higuita. The big names at the very forefront. You can see Stefan Kung starting to suffer with these steep gradients. Gernalek of Arkea Samsic, who's right up there on the general classification for the French squad, also really starting to suffer. Will anybody make a move before we get to 1 kilometre to go? As things stand, doesn't look that way. It would take a big gamble, wouldn't it, to go at this point?
Yeah, it would indeed. I think Remco's going to go, you know. I think Remco's going to go. I can just feel it a little bit like what he did 2 years ago on the second climb, that sort of long
Vavaka's
range.
done. Sorry, Adam, Vavaka's done, and Remco is going. Spot on. Is he going for the stage win, or is he just trying to keep the pace even and just guarantee himself this overall classification? Doesn't need to do this to do that, because he's got over a minute of an advantage over everybody else. He's putting in acceleration, and it's hurting the legs of many behind him.
Yeah, he's hurt him as well. This long range effort that he's going to do, the high power for a long time. Not really worrying about the GC, but just trying to get rid of the likes of the faster guys, the likes of Ethan Hayter in there. Sergio Higuita just on the back still. Voss being distanced ever so slightly now by this effort.
And the young Belgian hasn't even got out of the saddle from what I've seen just yet. Jay Vine beginning to suffer, as is Foss, as you mentioned, Alan. So we've got 5 riders as things stand at the head of the race. Evenepoel, Gaudu, McNulty, Martinez and Sergio Higuita.
Yeah,
1K to go.
I think Remco now, the best thing he could do is just keep pushing on with the plays, hold that super high power that we know that he's got. I think then if he could just hold that pace and increase it to the line, it'd struggle for riders to come around him. But if he backs off a little bit, that suits the likes of Danny Martinez, the likes of Higuita just behind him ever so slightly. Gaudu is still looking good, but Higuita just sat on the back. We've not seen him put his nose in the wind this whole race yet.
No, and he doesn't need to, does he? He's not a threat at all on the general classification, even to the riders who are in front of him, and between him and Remco Evenepoel at the front. Well, coming into the closing stages, Evenepoel's done exactly what you suggested he do, Adam. He's kept the pace high. Quite deceptive because, as I said, he doesn't look particularly hard for the Belgian, but Tobias Vos has been unable to regain contact. And you only need to look at the face of Danny Martinez to see what the pace is right now, being set by Remco Evenepoel. Coming towards the closing stage, and finally, he gets out of the saddle. Stage win still up for grabs, though, and it looks like it's going to be between these 5 riders. 500 metres to go. Evenepoel pulls off. Is anybody going to make a move? Has anybody got the legs still to make a move?
Higuita's still looking good, isn't he? Just sat there at the back. This is what he did on that second stage when he started sprinting and had the crash there with Tobias Vos. He's not there today, but right on the end of his saddle. Danny Martinez is rocking a little bit more than last time up this climb. Gaudu still sat firmly on that wheel, just concentrating on Remco Evenepoel there.
Well, the positions they went through 1 kilometre ago are pretty much the positions that they still hold now. But McNulty, the American from UAE Team Emirates, decides to be the first rider to make an acceleration towards the finish line. He draws Danny Martinez of the Ineos Grenadiers, but they're all locked together. Evenepoel has been slightly distanced. It's not going to be his stage win today. It's amongst the first 4. McNulty still at the front. Martinez is going to pull his compatriot up towards the front as well. It's the rider from the Ineos Grenadiers who's leading the race at the moment, but how much has Sergio Higuita got left in the tank? Can he come round his compatriot just before the line? Inside the closing 100 metres of this 5th and final stage is between the 2 Colombians, and it's Higuita who takes the stage victory. Stage win for Sergio Higuita, general classification for Remco Evenepoel. A job well done for him, and a job very well done by Quick-Step Alpha Vinyl.
Very good indeed. Higuita there, I thought he just left it too late. I was like, when is it going to happen? Then we got the shot of it coming round this corner. He was just able to get past Martinez. I thought Martinez had it for a minute, but brilliant, patient ride by Higuita there, and just being able to nip past Danny Martinez on the line. But Remco just getting rid of everyone that he needed to do, put in the big effort, and then wasn't too bothered about that stage win. Just happy with the general classification.
Well, across comes the line. Across the line comes Figueiredo, the best of the local riders. Ethan Hayter also just crossing the line there. Another good ride here by Connor Swift. Big rider to be getting up these steep gradients, giving everything he's got just to keep his place as high up on the general classification as possible. Well, no doubt about who has won this race overall. Remco Evenepoel for a second time. Took it 2 years ago in 2020, and he's done it again this year. Total of 3 stage wins for his team. Evenepoel yesterday, Fabio Jakobsen with 2 sprint wins. It's been a good week, but it's what we've come to expect from that team. Quite a mature ride from Evenepoel today, Adam. Just did what he had to do. Talk us through the finish, though, between those going for the stage victory at the end.
Yeah, well, this is the point that McNulty goes here, and Gaudu just a little bit blocked and delayed reaction. Obviously, Remco wasn't looking around and being bothered by this, but Danny Martinez just getting onto the wheel straight away, and you can see Gaudu just trying to... I don't think he's trying to get on the wheel, he's just trying to hold on to Danny Martinez's wheel. This is the point where Martinez goes, and you can see Higuita just sat on the wheel, just waiting, and this is around 200 metres to go. That's 200 there, so see Higuita just coming up on the right-hand side now, round this last corner. He sits down there, changes down 1 gear, comes out that corner, and he's just able to edge out the power that little bit more. Time to perfection, and just that little bit of not seated acceleration, but sitting down in the corner, changing down a gear, making sure the chain doesn't slip too much, and then getting back out the saddle. Time to perfection, but you just feel that these guys had so much more left in the legs. We saw Danny Martinez the first time up the climb, attacking.